Robert Astbury is an English rock musician and songwriter best known as the lead vocalist for the rock band The Cult. Pre-Cult, in 1979, while living in Glasgow, he was deeply struck by the Doors' song The End, which he heard while watching the movie Apocalypse Now, later describing this as a religious experience. In 1980 he was in Liverpool, where he was active on the punk scene based around Eric's Club. After he was made homeless due to a dispute with a landlord over a party at his bedsit apartment, he ended up following anarchist punk band Crass. After a period of living in squats and sleeping rough, he moved to Bradford in late 1980. Here he was a founding member of the positive punk band Southern Death Cult in 1981. Southern Death Cult lasted until March 1983, when it was dissolved. Along with guitarist Billy Duffy, bassist Jamie Stewart and drummer Raymond Taylor Smith, Astbury formed a new band, Death Cult, released the Death Cult EP and later dropped Death from the name to become The Cult. The Cult, Southern Death Cult referred to a Mesoamerican mound-building culture that pervaded some parts of Northern America, but this was not a commercially viable band name. The Cult are a postmodern rock band active since 1983. Their first album, Dreamtime, was released in 1984, and followed by Love in 1985. Love featured the single She Sells Sanctuary, which introduced the band to an international audience. Many songs of these early albums focus on Native American themes, a preoccupation of Astbury. On their third album, Electric, The Cult made a transformation to hard rock sound with the help of Rick Rubin. After the release of the 1989 album Sonic Temple, and the single Fire Woman, Astbury relocated to Los Angeles, California. 1990s, the dent in their reputation was amplified by the loss of many Sonic Temple fans, when their next album, Ceremony, released in 1991, delivered disappointingly in the wake of an oncoming grunge movement. In 1994, The Cult returned with an untitled album and a change of musical pace. Their hard rock sound was gone, replaced instead by Astbury's growing interest in alternative music, fashion and introspective lyrics. The self-titled album was not a commercial success, due mostly to the lack of radio support for the album's two singles. To support the album they set out on a tour. In Brazil, however, Astbury's creative differences with guitarist Duffy reached their peak, and the former walked out on The Cult. Inspired by his sudden change in direction, Astbury soon after assembled another group of musicians and began writing new songs. He called the group the Holy Barbarians, and in 1996 the band released the album Cream. Although they were not a commercial success, the Barbarians were well received by many who had regained respect for Astbury as an artist. One notable appearance by the band was at the small Tunbridge Wells Forum, which saw them being joined on stage by Vic Reeves for a rendition of the Cult's classic Wildflower. Personal difficulties and a drive for further introspection drove Astbury away from his new group, as he began working on a solo album. In 1999, Astbury and Duffy reformed The Cult to head one of the most financially successful tours that year. A new contract with Atlantic Records was inked, and in 2001 came the release of Beyond Good and Evil. Early radio success was being heard by the single Rise, until the band had a falling out with Atlantic and they ended all commercial promotions and radio play for the album. Astbury described the fight with the record label as soul-destroying. Disillusioned, he brought The Cult to another hiatus in 2002. 2000s and beyond, Astbury became lead singer of The Doors of the 21st Century in 2002. The group featured original Doors members Robbie Krieger and Ray Manzarek. In 2003, Astbury also performed with surviving members of MC5 at the 100 Club in London, before finally reforming The Cult with Duffy again in 2006, for a series of live dates and rumours of reissues and another greatest hits compilation in the works. During early 2007, The Cult entered the studio to begin production on Born Into This, the group's first album in 6 years. Also planned for release was a DVD of the band's November 13, 2006 concert at Irving Plaza in New York City. The Cult's current lineup consists of Astbury and Duffy, alongside bassist Chris Wise, drummer John Tempesta and touring rhythm guitarist Mike Dimkich. In October 2007, the Cult finally released Born Into This. The first single was Dirty Little Rockstar, which enjoyed strong radio airplay. In 2009, the Cult announced a series of shows across Canada, the US, Canada and various countries in Europe. It was billed as Love Live, where the band performed its classic album, Love, in its entirety. On May 29, 2010, Boris performed The End with Ian Astbury at Vivid Festival on Sydney. Boris and Astbury released a 4-song EP in September 2010 on Southern Lord and Amir Records, containing 4 tracks entitled Teeth and Claws, We Are Witches, Rain, Magical Child. He lives in Los Angeles and plays on the football team Hollywood United with Billy Duffy and Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols and is a supporter of English Premier League club Everton FC. On May 26, 2012, Astbury married the Black Rider singer-guitarist Amy Nash in Las Vegas. Other musical ventures: Astbury is featured on the UNKLE tracks Burn My Shadow, When Things Explode, and Forever. He also sings Flame on Tony Iommi's solo album Iommi, as well as duets with Deborah Harry on her 1989 album Deaf, Dumb and Blonde's song Love Light. In 2010, he provided the vocals for the song Ghost on Guitarist Slash's self-titled solo album. The track also featured former Guns N' Roses guitarist Izzy Stradlin on rhythm guitar. Astbury is also credited for playing the drums on a track called Gasp by Japanese Cartoon. Solo discography: Spirit / Speed, BXI. Guest appearances: Boris BXI. Uncle War Stories on Burn My Shadow. Uncle War Stories on When Things Explode. Uncle Forever. Tony Iommi Iommi on Flame On. Deborah Harry Deaf Dumb and Blonde on Love Light. Slash on Ghost. Circus of Power Magic and Madness on Shine. References: Olsen, Steve. Ian Astbury / The Cult. Juice. Retrieved May 29, 2011. Cult biography: Camelot Music 1988, The Cult. View the music artist's biography online vh1.com. Retrieved April 3, 2010. C.B. Liddell. Interviews with the famous Ian Astbury, musician. ino-interviews.blogspot.com. Retrieved October 14, 2011. Ross, Mike. Long Live the Lizard King. Edmonton Sun. Retrieved August 9, 2010. Zloway, John. The Doors of the 21st Century Head Up Strange Days Fest. Live Daily. Retrieved August 9, 2010. Ian Astbury and Boris: The End at Sydney Opera House 2010 inches. YouTube. Retrieved October 14, 2011. Domble, Ryan. Boris Team with the Cult's Ian Astbury. Pitchfork Media. Retrieved August 9, 2010. AAEC Degree. Dieproducts.com. Retrieved October 14, 2011. Southern Lord Records BXI = Boris collaboration with Ian Astbury. blog.southernlord.com. Retrieved October 14, 2011. Lord Adio, Marisa. Dodd, Johnny. The Cult's Ian Astbury Words in Las Vegas. People. Retrieved June 3, 2012. External links: IMDb biography, The Cult official website, Ian Astbury interview 2010.